really just tired in general. So like I'm just exhausted. So like whatever.
Well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Traveling Hoopers podcast. I am your host, Alan Pettigrew, and these two fine gentlemen will introduce themselves.
Well, I am fine. Thanks for telling the world, Alan. But my name is Philip Dixon, aka the one and only. You can follow me on everything because I have everything.
What's up? I'm Calvin McGowan, and you can follow me on most things. I'm probably not going to do anything on them, though. So.
Hey, Calvin, I feel like if we pull up your account, you would just look like a bot, bro. How many
Probably. I got, like 12 maybe?
12 tweets? Come on.
Probably not. Don't even. Like, I barely use it. I definitely don't tweet.
Do you at least retweet? Spread the love.
Occasionally.
What do you do in your free time?
Not tweet, if that's what you're asking.
Like, do you get on Twitter at all?
I actually kind of try and stay away from it, if I'm being real.
What about Instagram?
Same thing. I think I have like a little time thing on my phone, like 15 minutes a day on average.
Wow. Do you like read lots of books?
I try. At this point, it's mostly been like a lot of YouTube though.
Okay. I was like, what application do you use? Because you're not using Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. I'm like, that takes up 6 hours of my day. So I'm like, I don't know what I would do with those extra 6 hours. Productive? No way.
Sleep.
Man, I'm sure I'm glad I wasn't born in the 1800s. I'll be stuck. I ain't trying to do none of that. So, like, there's a couple reasons why I'm glad I'm not born in the 1800s. But another one of them is we didn't have applications. But also, we're the age that we remember there being no apps or phones or cell phones. I mean, so like, I really like being I'm over exaggerating. I'm like, what would I do with no apps? Because like, that was middle school. I just played Game Boy.
That's the original app, bro.
This is a lot of dead air.
Bro, it's about to be a low energy fucking podcast, bro. Please tell me I watched some NBA, because I ain't watched nothing, bro. I ain't watched nothing but that Lakers Clipper game.
I watched it all, bro. I watched the Nuggets. I watched the Portland Trailblazers yesterday. I'm about to clip on the what do they call it? The Pelicans Grizzly game at 5:30.
I'm interested in catching that. I tried to watch some WNBA, but I wasn't feeling basketball at all. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. The way the NBA set this up, I really forget there's no crowds until they keep showing like the virtual people. But like when they're on the court, they set it up to where like I really do forget. Like you ever watch those like the World versus Africa games? You know what I'm talking about?
I haven't watched them, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, I don't watch them either. But like when I skim over them, like, oh, they're playing Africa, which I probably shouldn't be like, oh, playing Africa, and then keep on going. But like when I skim over it, I'm just like, this gives off that same kind of vibe, except these games actually mean something, which is like impressive. You know what I mean? Like it's impressive that the NBA is really pulling this off, because these games feel like legitimate games. They don't feel like summer league games, or they don't feel like subpar games, I should say. Like they legit feel like games. When James Harden is guarding Giannis, you're really into it. You know what I mean? It's not like because like James Harden is really playing defense, because it's real games where these stats really matter for their legacies and whatever. You know what I mean? For the career stats and all that kind of stuff. So it's really interesting just to looking at the psychology of the players and just like the format that the NBA has come up with.
Something I just thought about though is like the NBA probably messed up its own draft this year.
Mm-hmm.
They
Like,
messed up more than the draft, bro. But yeah.
well, let's just start with the draft. You can get into other stuff, but it's just like, nah, because like, in spite of myself, I was actually on like Twitter today, and like I saw a bunch of stuff about, I know, right? But like I saw a bunch of stuff about like players deciding to come back instead of staying in the draft. I think like Trendon Watford, for one, a bunch of dudes who probably would have stayed if like it was a regular year.
Yeah.
Um,
Luka Garza.
Yeah, apparently,
I haven't seen anything about him. He's decided to stay.
Yep. Made the announcement yesterday.
apparently this year is going to be like some like record number of people staying in like the last couple decades
Yep.
than how it actually has been before, which makes sense, right? Like it's not surprising. Um, are more people also going to the G League and jumping and all kind of stuff? That is going to be probably the case too as well, right? The closer we get to basketball seasons the next season. But I don't understand why the NBA didn't do what the NFL did for the draft. Like, is there a reason why they didn't do that?
I thought they wanted more game film or something. I don't remember. I thought it was something kind of dumb. At least dumb in hindsight. But I thought they wanted like, yeah, I thought it had something to do with that because like, you know, team like technically the college basketball season didn't truly finish. Like we don't have an NCAA champ. Like I think there might be conference champs, but like, it's also kind of sad because like a lot of teams that are basically never good were good for the first time since like my parents were like 5. So
like
that was
they assumingly didn't realize that at that point when the NBA draft, when was the NBA draft? When is it? What month is that?
June?
It's usually in June.
Yeah, like it would have happened in June.
Like a week
So
after.
in June, they realized that by June, they realized that this was going to go on for quite some time, the pandemic wise, and quarantine and whatever falls along with that. So you would think that they go, oh, okay, the structure that the NFL had wasn't that crazy of a structure. It was people had cameras in their houses, and it was Roger Goodell sitting in his house going and opening an envelope or reading a tablet or whatever it was, right? Like Adam Silver can't do that. Like and it's way cheaper than it was, it saves them money in comparison to, this year or in Chicago or New York or whatever, you know what I mean? Like I say, and they're bringing all these fans in, it saves them money overall. So I don't understand why they just didn't do it in June once they realized, because we realized it's going to be a long time. In what, April? Like, it really don't make no sense. I really don't understand.
All right. A little bit of insider information. So, like, some people who do, like, scouting for the NBA, like, part of the reason why this is happening is a lot of the teams who are historically bad at drafting don't do scouting well. So, it's nice that the games happened.
Yeah.
But they're not good decision makers based off that. So they wanted to use the draft combine. Like a lot of them need the draft combine to like get their hands and eyes on them. And it's
imagine needing the combine. The NBA combine is so bad.
I mean, like if you do it right, you probably can find someone folks aren't looking at like that.
The NBA combine is so like, I appreciate it because it shows like athleticism, but basketball is so much more than athleticism. It's so skill based. You know what I mean? Like craftiness with the ball is so much more than just athleticism. So like, it's not football. Like, so if you're a team and you're basing a ton of stuff off of potential through like, oh, he's got really long arms or whatever it is, and all of a sudden you got a bunch of Taco Falls or whatever, and Bobo fall into the second round for whatever reason. You know what I mean?
No, he was fall because he was hurt and he's giant.
But he was hurt, but he was nice, and he could have came back that season, but he sat out because he wanted to go to NBA. He was going to the NBA no matter what. You know what I mean? It's a one and done no matter what. So I'm just like, if you're a team and you're depending that much on the NBA combine, you really boo boo. Like, you really boo-boo. Like, how you got a job?
Somebody's got to make the money.
Facts.
You
Shoot,
don't pay people the money. That's the crazy thing.
man, give me the money. Give me the money. I'll tell you who's gonna be good before the combine. You over here talking about the combine, like you over here. Ooh, he hit the 42-inch slapsticks. Like, come on now, that's so whack.
Bro, Loki, you shouldn't do this, but you could Loki scroll through Twitter and kind of find out like who can play.
What do you mean?
Like if you follow the right people who do scouting professionally, like this is what they get paid for, you could just look at their notes.
All you need, really, to find out if a player can play, all you need is 10 games in a row. Because they might get on a hot streak, but like unless you're Kobe Bryant, you're not on no 10-game hot streak. You know what I mean? Like all you need is 10 games. You need 3 practices to show like work ethic and all that kind of stuff, to see like the ins and outs of like how their mind works when they're not in the actual game. And that's all you really need. Like 10 games shows you skill in a game. It shows you what they can do against legitimate competition. It shows you, skill wise how they adapt to certain situations. But then practice shows you just work ethic. What do they do when behind closed doors, things like that? You don't need a combine. You just need those 3 things, or those 2 things really. Like and then you can add in little personal workouts, I guess. But Kevin Durant proved that personal workouts don't mean nothing.
Like, wait, were his terrible or something?
Oh, his combine numbers were god awful. He just happened to be 7 foot and can hoop. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, can you hoop, right? Like that don't matter. You can be. We know so many people in the NBA who can jump the highest, who can run the fastest, but can you hoop though? Like that's all that matters. And a lot of those dudes, they get built off, which is a problem that's happened more recently, I guess. I want to say recently, like the last 10 years, I guess, where they draft more off potential than they do like can you hoop, and it's not great. That's not a great concept.
If I might though, like that's not necessary. I don't think the whole drafting for potential is necessarily all that new, because like, and granted, it's not as much of a thing now, but like it wasn't that long ago we used to see dudes like get drafted, especially in, like the second round or whatever, off the fact that they're like 7 foot tall, and like that's it, pretty much. It's like you can't teach 7 foot tall. It's like you're right, you can, but the fact that he can't play ball is a problem, or it should be.
Yeah, that's true. But then I hate Paul Pierce as a commentator. Everything that comes out of his mouth is pure garbage. But he did say in one of his interviews that if he were coming out of college today, he would be very late second round or wouldn't get drafted at all because of his numbers, right? Because of his numbers, and he was a very skill-based player. Like, he was a skill-based player. Automatically, you watch his game his whole entire life. He wasn't the quickest, the fastest, but he could get a bucket. You know what I mean? So if he was getting drafted in the what's the word I'm looking for? If he's getting drafted with the qualifications that a lot of people draft him today, then like he would not be nearly as sought after as he was when he was coming up. And I can go through that, but he's the one who's saying this. I'm like, okay, that makes a lot of sense though, because he don't say a lot of things that make sense. So whenever he does, I pay attention. But also like I don't know, because like also you have people like Gilbert Arenas who ran he ran on the treadmill for like when they do like the testing, all kind of stuff for the combine. He ran on it in Tim's. He didn't care because he's like, okay, give me that basketball and I can hoop. You know what I mean? And turned out he could. You know what I mean? That's all. I'm not sure like how far you should dig deep into these combine numbers for basketball. Football, they over here dissecting dudes like dudes like a human no more. You're over here in the hyperbolic time chamber. But like in basketball, I'm not sure how validated those numbers really are in the grand scheme of things.
Paul Pierce also tripping, by the way. There's no way he would have been a second round pick.
Yeah, ain't no way.
Wait, 6'7", way too much skill. Come on, bro.
All American. He averaged 20 points a game his junior year.
Bro, we know a lot of people that average big buckets that don't get where they are. You know what I mean? Like, or don't go where they should be.
Big 12.
You know what?
He did it in the Big 12. Like if you have numbers like that and you have like a skill set, especially a scoring skill set, at the bare minimum, he would have been a late first round.
When's the last time, and he should never even be late first round, when's the last time somebody who got buckets in college, or who, can you think of anybody who got buckets in college who the NBA was just like no on? Can you think of anybody?
Jimmer Fredette?
I get that. Like, he was not passing the ball to nobody. His IQ was awful when you watch him at BYU. Like, he was just pulling up from the half court. Like, can you take a step in? Like, they giving you the space. Take a step in. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of get that. I'm not gonna front.
Yeah.
But Jimmer Fredette, he was he? I didn't
He
like
actually had really good combine numbers. I remember.
Who?
Fredette, he actually tested pretty well at the combine. If
I
memory
don't
serves.
him though. His game was garbage to me.
It was fun to it was a lot of fun to watch. Let's not pretend.
No, it was, Jimmer, everybody was doing that back in the day, shooting from dumb far. But I never liked his game. Like, he just shot from far. But if I sat down and watched his game, I hated this game. I'm like, okay, he's shooting from dumb far. He getting lots of buckets, but like, his buckets don't mean nothing. They win in minimal games that a team should win with somebody scoring that many points.
I mean, with that being said, he also played for BYU, and I can't name nobody else from that BYU team.
I can, but like not because of basketball, because I think he got mentioned in like a Wale song that I liked at one point. But like, that's it.
Can you name anybody from any BYU team?
Besides for that.
From a BYU team. Bro, they had a pair of incoming freshmen that I was like super high on, and I do not remember either one of their names. And they were like, that was like my favorite duo. And they turned out to be hot garbage when they got back in the league. I mean,
They turned to be what?
They turned out to be hot garbage, bro.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought you said.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just making sure. I didn't hear what you said at first. Hot garbage. Now, BYU was always trash to me. I was not a BYU fan, but to each his own. Like, didn't they have, who was that guy on the team? He got kicked out because he had a girl in his room.
I think that was the dude I'm thinking about. Brendan Davies, I think.
Yep, he got kicked out because he had a girl in his room for that Mormon school.
But you're saying the NBA messed up some other stuff too, like with how they're doing this stuff. What else they messed up, Alan? What I'm not thinking about.
On a personal, I think they messed up the next season. To me,
Explain.
the season, you have two shortened seasons back to back. Like, it's why?
I mean,
I was a big believer in just throwing this one away and just start anew. It's a pandemic, guys. We put the asterisk there. People understand. Like, I know why they did it, but like, two back-to-back shortened seasons, and it's not like it was a lockout or anything. Just looks weird. It's going to look very weird in the history books.
It's going to look weird, but it's unnecessary.
It's going to look very weird. Anyway.
You don't think it's necessary at all?
I didn't say
really not.
Wait, what?
You said you don't think it was necessary at all. Like, I really don't think it. I guess finishing out the season, is that what you're saying is necessary? Or not necessary?
Alan?
Philip.
I was talking to you.
Me?
Get off your phone, bro.
No, I'm not on my phone. I'm trying to get on this Pelicans game. But my TV provider messing up. I'm not gonna lie to you. I try to be all slight and all sneaky, but all of a sudden my TV provider, AT&T, started messing up on me.
How you gonna be slight and sneaky, bro? You on video. I can see you.
Dang.
You like right in front of the camera, bro.
My bad.
What the Extendo iPad? Like, come on, bro.
Hey, this iPad fat though. What was the question?
Now you were asking about whether or not something was necessary. I think in terms of, I guess, like finishing out the season or whatever.
Yeah. So, Alan, you don't think that you think it's just weird. You don't think that it's you don't think it's unnecessary. You just think it's gonna be strange.
Yeah, it just looks. It's gonna look really weird. And I can also see all the pettiness of, like, let's say LeBron wins these 2 rings.
Ooh, I'm like,
dog, so many asterisks, and I do not want to hear the LeBron slander, bro.
First of all, he won't win. But have you seen? But the asterisk would be this is one of the more difficult seasons to win championship in. Hey, not to everybody, but people who truly know basketball. Because I'm done talking to people who don't know basketball. If you know basketball, this is going to be one of the counted as one of the most difficult seasons to win a championship in. Right? Mental
argument.
Say it again.
Argument. That might be true, but it does not apply to the Lakers because the Lakers have LeBron and Anthony Davis.
But the Lakers did lose Avery Bradley and Rajon Rondo, and Avery Bradley was a big deal for them.
Okay. I'm not saying that like there's not that because like there are dudes who just like decided not to play, staying home or whatever. A pandemic makes perfect sense and all that, but like it's like yeah they lost important pieces, but so did everybody else. And even though they lost important pieces, they still have Anthony Davis and LeBron James.
Well, the way they were looking the other day against the Clippers, who didn't have Lou Will or Montrezl Harrell, yeah, if they win the whole thing, I gotta give them their props. They was not looking solid.
Ain't no way they win after that, bro.
Bro, look. If you watch that game,
it's an extra 40 points coming.
If you watch that game, there is no way they're winning a championship. There's no way. Can they even beat the Rockets? I'm gonna say that because the Rockets were looking good. Like the Rockets were looking very, very good. For whatever reason, maybe the rest helped them out. I don't know. Like the Rockets were looking good.
The Rockets was looking good for like the last 20 games of the season before everything went to
when they took that the no center thing.
Yeah, I think that's gonna come back to bite them in the butt
in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, you going against Anthony Davis, it's definitely gonna come back to bite you.
I'm not even worried about Anthony Davis. There's so many teams that have like a legitimate post presence in the West that is just going to be unfavorable. Like they can't do nothing to stop Nikola Jokic. Like I can't wait for PJ Tucker to get a hold of that. Like he might be able to stop him from scoring, but that is an offense unto himself.
And last week, me and Kyle were talking about Michael Porter Jr. and he is playing.
Oh yeah, I know. He having a career high right now.
Yeah, but you weren't here last week, Calvin. You should have been here to tell us that he was playing. He's playing, Calvin. He's doing he put in work.
I mean, if you would have looked at the video that I painstakingly edited, like I did the research. I was listening. Hey, y'all messed up so many names last week. Nurkic, that's the center for Portland, by the way, guys.
What did he say?
I don't know who y'all said, but it was so off.
Man, I don't like him in the European team.
I thought we mentioned Whiteside, I thought.
Yeah, we mentioned Whiteside.
It was Whiteside and somebody else.
But it wasn't Nurkic.
It was not Nurkic. I was like, you don't even play for Portland. Who are y'all talking about?
Yeah, that's on us. Our fault.
My bad.
We ain't gonna do it again. I promise, Alan. You don't have to do that painstaking editing anymore because we gonna get the names right.
Nah, you're probably gonna need to do it at some point. Let's not pretend.
I'll just show up to the podcast next time so I can correct y'all on the spot.
That's true. We really you thought I'd just show up next time. We'd really appreciate that.
Yeah. But it's way too many teams in the West that it's like 4 legitimate like options in the West that have big men that are going to scare the rest of the Rockets.
Name them.
We got Jokic.
Okay.
Apparently, Nurkic is like really good now, and they can play Whiteside with Nurkic.
Apparently, he's always been really good.
Yeah, but like it's like since coming back, apparently like he's much better now, or he can be a facilitator in the score, and also give you really good defense. And then they got to worry about Jokic if they play Denver in like the second round. Like, I do not have a lot of faith in Rudy Gobert as like a scorer, but that is a load defensively. And
I got you that.
Who else?
AD,
Lakers, Clippers. That's what, 5 teams.
Man, Clippers got Zubac and a 36-year-old Noah.
Look, Montrezl Harrell, and you got to remember that's just like a collective of big dudes. Like they got like 7 dudes that's over like 6'8". Or at least like 6'7". Like I don't think they got the size to really deal with that.
Yeah, that's true. The Lakers are, while the Lakers are really, really, really big, but the Clippers are big themselves though, because like their wings are gigantic. But Patrick Beverly's small and Lou Williams small, but like
that's it.
Lou Williams is going to give you buckets. Like he's not there for defense. Yeah. Patrick Beverly feels bigger on defense than he actually is. Like he a little what do they call them? What are those dogs with the squished faces?
Bulldog?
No. I'm talking about what are those?
Don't tell me you're talking about a pug, bro.
A pug. Yeah. He a pug.
He a pug.
Yeah.
Pugs don't got no fight, bro. Pugs ain't trying to fight. Like Calvin said, that made us a bulldog.
Pugs ain't trying to fight?
Man.
I don't know nothing about pugs. I'm gonna front with you.
Then why would you use pugs in that situation?
It felt right. I don't know.
Was it?
Every time I walk to a house, the pug, always yapping, run up into your leg, and I feel like that's Patrick Beverly. To a LeBron, at least.
I mean,
I get what
you go at LeBron. That's more puggish. But if we talking about like Westbrook or Harden, that's a little bit more bulldogish, where he get that bite.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. He get that bite.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get that bite, bro. He already tore Westbrook's meniscus once.
That's not funny. That was so disrespectful.
I'm not saying that as a joke. I'm not saying that as a
so
joke.
disrespectful.
It was a wild play, bro.
Because it wasn't even a play. The whistle had been blown. That's so disrespectful to tear somebody AC or meniscus when the whistle already been blown.
Hey, 3 wildest plays in OKC history. James Harden getting elbowed in the back of the head by Metal World Peace.
That was nuts.
Every time I watch it, I can't help but be like, maybe he did it on purpose. Like, oh no, bro.
Wait,
that meniscus tear.
Who did what on purpose?
Metal World Peace, bro.
You said maybe he did it on purpose? Come on now, Alan.
Maybe.
There's no way he didn't do that on purpose. That was the most blatant.
He didn't do it on purpose, so I'm not going to.
That was the most blatant.
Because I can't fight.
That was the most blatant, wild thing you could possibly do. That was so nuts. Like, I remember seeing it for the first time, and I was like, I don't know what this is. I wasn't watching basketball when the Malice and the Palace happened, but I ain't never seen nobody get headbutted so hard their neck like it broke.
Oh, that was a hit. Elbow just.
You start playing basketball and you start fighting Kimbo Slice. I was like, man, that doesn't make no sense. I really forgot all about that. How nuts that was.
Hey, when's the last time you rewatched the Malice in the Palace? Like, at least the fight.
Last year.
Oh, so entertaining.
It's probably one of the most entertaining things in sports, right?
Like, it gives me all the rush of UFC and all the fear of, oh my goodness, they're just laying people out.
All the rush for all the fear. That's nuts.
You can't tell me you ain't never looked at some of the people in the NBA like, I know you can fight. And then actually seeing them do it, like,
I don't even know. Like, I don't know. It's like there's certain dudes in the NBA you just don't fight.
Lonzo.
What?
Lonzo, you remember we just fight last year?
So what?
Was it the Brandon Ingram? I think Brandon Ingram got into a scrap and Lonzo just walked the other way.
Yeah, that happened like 2 years ago, I think.
He's like, they ain't got nothing to do with me, big dog.
He said, I think in the interview he said, this is the NBA, they don't really fight. So he just walked away. Brandon Ingram was the one who was right there quick when Rondo and CP3 had that little headbutt thing going on. That little headbutt thing happened. That little headbutt thing. Yeah, Brandon Ingram's right there.
That's a top 10 disrespectful moment in the NBA.
You think?
Come on, bro. Somebody got spit on. Somebody got spit on, then chin checked right after. Like, that's top 10, bro.
Yeah. That's you're not lying. That is true. That like getting spit on somebody or getting spit on by somebody is more disrespectful than like getting open hand slapped by somebody. Because you get open hand slapped by somebody, that means they weren't even trying to knock you out. They just want you to feel that pain. Like, that's so disrespectful to another grown man. But getting spit on, who did the guy am? Like I've never been spit on for my life, but if I did, I might be in jail.
Nah, I ain't good. I don't know, bro. I think that's a blackout moment if I get spit on, especially if you did it on purpose. Like,
that is so disrespectful. Calvin, you been spit on before?
Nah, not trying to either.
Oh, you nuts!
Imagine getting spit on at the rec.
Man,
that would have been.
Or you a foul call. Here's somebody spit on you. Like, oh
man, 2020, you better catch something. You better get spit on right. Look, you playing a little unsanctioned, basketball, a little pickup game right now. All of a sudden, somebody spit on you. You gotta fight because it's with the pandemic going on. Oh no, that ain't it. You can.
Hey, if you hooping during the pandemic, I know you spit on people. Because you risking it all. You're risking it all for basketball. Like, and you're not getting paid for it. I already know you spit on people. You don't care.
I wouldn't say all that. I wouldn't say all that.
Love spit on people. That's.
I mean, I don't spit on nobody. I did do one hoop sesh.
So you spit on somebody once? That's what I'm hearing.
I did one hoop sesh since March. What is that? March 12th or whatever it was when the pandemic really started. When everything got shut down, like the middle of March. I did one hoop sesh, and no one's spitting on nobody because they do the whole gym squaring up.
Hey, please tell me when y'all played at the rec. Please tell me it was like 5 out. Like y'all just had the motion offense. Like nobody was trying to post up, right?
Listen, it wasn't at no rec. It was at like a invite only private thing by like some like people I knew in high school, but like not Belton, like AAU and all kind of stuff. Like in a very like personalized gym that like like my old AAU team has and practiced in before everything got shut down. So it was like a very specific group of people. It wasn't just the rec where Bob Schmo and his homies popping up. You know what I mean? Like, nah, that ain't it. I ain't playing with them people. Them people dirty.
Hey, bro, how y'all feel about them letting kids play AAU right now?
That's ignorant.
Especially, yeah, it's kind of dumb. Like, clearly we watched it, but like, yeah,
like it's not the watching this there, but like,
that's ignorant. Having kids play AAU now is very ignorant. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's like any youth sports right now is ignorant. It's a bit ignorant if you letting your kid play, a bit ignorant. If you are like the league overseer and you're like, sanctioning these games, you're also very ignorant. Like, you're gonna be sanctioning these games but not showing up to watch them yourself because you want to be safe. That's ignorant as hell. I know a lot of baseball and softball, little league things are still going on too.
Did you hear part of the reason why? I I think it was the MLB why they don't have like a bubble.
There's too many teams. He said too many players.
Another thing was they at the beginning someone threw out the idea that because of the way that baseball is set up, outside of the ball, they already naturally social distance.
Which is true. Besides two positions.
Yeah, but you know what's stupid about that? Everybody's in the dugout.
I thought there was some stuff saying they social distance in the dugout. Now that I say it, I'm not really. I don't know.
I mean, that is facts. That is facts.
There's not enough space, and then everybody has to come to the water cooler at some point. Like, come on, dude. Like,
that is facts. Like, they do get thirsty. You gotta pull that mask down. Gotta go. That is true. Huh.
At this point, it's for it's time for basketball to go ahead and become our national pastime, bro.
Football is gonna be. I don't think football is gonna make it through the season.
Because they can't come together to talk about it.
No. These owners and players are on two different parts. Like when it comes to the owners and the players being on one accord, the NBA is on a different level than like any of the other sports programs. Them are like the NHL also had like 4,000 people test and like no one was positive. Because the NHL is doing the bubble thing also.
Hey,
dudes still also get to fist fight. That's completely unrelated. But like no other sport lets you fist fight unless it's an actual fighting sport. I just want to throw that out there.
That's completely unrelated.
Hey, you know how you can go undefeated in the fights this year in the NHL?
You cough on someone?
Mm-mm. When you throw your gloves down, spit on your hands. Square up.
You find me. That has to be one of the grimiest things I heard in my life. Spit on your own hands. Two. What you gonna do now? Oh no, I'm walking away. You ain't gonna see me for a cool minute. I'm dipping out the bubble.
I won. That's what matters.
But you in a bubble. Ideally, you shouldn't have nothing, so it really shouldn't matter. Actually, like if you in a bubble, like you major leagues, you in baseball, you fighting. I'm like, okay. I don't know where you ate last night, whatever. But if you in a bubble, you really can't be in that bubble unless you clean. So you at that point, you just spit on your hands for no reason. Like you really were just spitting on yourself too. I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
as a germaphobe, you spit on your hands at any time? Nah, that's good, bro. You won. I'm bowing out. I don't gotta do this.
I mean that's not even like cool. Like that's like the least cool thing you could do. In a fight, people try to look cool, put their pants up a little bit, they got their own little form a little bit.
Yeah, but trying to be cool is how you lose fights, though.
You said what?
I said trying to be cool is how you lose fights, though.
Listen, I've seen some of the cool, almost every cool person I know who they weren't cool outside the fight, but when they squared up, they made cool motions. I ain't never seen one lose. Like I'm like a lot of you.
What are cool motions in
Bro, like cool motions in a fight are like the motions you make that let people know that you can fight. Does that make sense? So like if you came if you were fighting, right? So you were fighting and you pulled your pants up, and you start doing this, right? Why yada. That's not a cool motion. But if you over here, ducking and dodging and weaving before anybody throws a punch, you ducking, dodging and weaving. I ain't find you. Like you ducking. You got form? Oh no, you got form? You got form? No, it's a wrap.
When you say form, that makes sense. But I was like, cool movement. But I didn't know what you was talking about.
I don't know what you just said.
When you said form, I understand form in fighting, but not cool movement. I don't know what that is.
Form and cool. I just like form and cool. Like I just I made them associate with one another.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Yeah, moving it back to basketball a little bit. You look disappointed.
I am disappointed, bro.
No, but this is something I was thinking about, and y'all can tell me if I'm off base or whatever. Like, Zion Williamson should probably get whoever helps Blake Griffin, like, it helped Blake Griffin over his career, like, get better. Because
In
it's
what
like,
way?
all right, so something I was thinking about, right? So, Blake came in the league considered, super athletic, dunking basically everything. He had a little skill, but no one really paid attention to that. It's just like it's just the dunks and I guess rebounding and whatever. Like basically, I feel like they're at similar starting points, and like it would be it might be helpful to get somebody who helped Blake or otherwise someone who can help him get flesh out his skill set basically.
I
Am I
agree
saying
with
this
you.
right?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you on like that from a shooting standpoint, because like Blake Griffin just became like a really good like mid-range distance shooter like overall off season. But I don't know, bro. As explosive as Zion is, he need to work with somebody that's gonna give him some like wingish ball skills. Because
But Griffin has wingish ball skills also, though.
He's got some pretty solid
Griffin, for
handles.
years, Blake Griffin was known as like the best ball handler of the big men in the NBA. But when Chris Paul played with him, Chris Paul, you didn't see it as much because Chris Paul is so ball dominant. So like when he went to the Pistons that first like 2 years, you saw him doing things with the ball, like faking people out, all kind of stuff, and crossing over kind of stuff because he can do that kind of stuff because he's like a really really good ball handler for being 6'8" and whatever he is.
I mean, but he
I was
had
like
that before. He had that before he even came to the league, though. Like there was flashes of that in summer league.
But if you watch Zion at Duke, he never had bad ball handling skills. Right now, the way he's playing right now in the league and the way he played at Duke are completely different because I feel like he's playing to not get hurt. Does that make sense? Because like when he was a much more reckless player in Duke, right? So like you would see him get the rebound, drill the ball down court. People steal for it. He go behind the back, boom, 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 dunk it, whatever it is, coast to coast, a la Charles Barkley. But here you're not really seeing that because first of all, I feel like his run is really different. Like the way he runs like he's struggling. Like he run like he got hips, and I'm just like I get you're like really athletic and it's really effective, but like it's a little. You don't seem as explosive on the run as you were at any other point. Honestly, but that might be like somebody had to work with him to reteach him how to walk or whatever it was during while he was injured. So I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it or not. You know what I mean? But like I don't know. Like he has certain skills that he hasn't showed yet in the NBA because of hesitancies, and he's on this he's back on a time restriction for some reason, and I don't quite get that. I get it, but I don't get it at the same time because he was never close to getting hurt when the season was on pause. So that makes me question: did something happen during the pause? Like, I don't know.
But
He might just be out of shape. I don't know.
And if that's the case, that's bad because I heard they let him just have the gym.
Yeah, I heard the same thing.
Quarantine. So how are you out of shape? Did you what happened?
They literally let him go to the practice facility every day.
Yeah.
How are you out of shape? Oh, remember he was looking real cut. Ooh, Zion over here looking shredded. Man, this man looks exactly the same. And we know in the bubble he ain't eating no gumbo.
All I gotta say is I really like Zion. I don't see the hesitancy, like for real. Maybe I gotta watch another game or two. How much of this do you think is coaching? Like they just got him in a bad position right now.
So I haven't really watched him too much since he's been in the league, but I remember something that's easy to overlook because it's not something that you're not necessarily just gonna notice, but it just kind of keeps he has elite level body control, especially for a dude his size. You get him around the rim and he could find a way to make the layup work or what have you, make the dunk work. So if he's not being as explosive, I would make the argument it's probably coaching because it was very much in him during, at college. There's no reason to really not be in him now, other than like people being in his ear, and of course people just like in on social media or like talking heads or whatever talking about he's too big or whatever. Like and like he's a big dude, and I don't know, maybe he'd benefit from dropping weight, but like a lot of that's probably muscle to begin with. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. Zion big, but that's you just like looking at his arms and like looking at his legs, you can't tell me that's like that's a lot of fat. You can't convince me that. Like
I don't know what it is. Like
that's like a naturally just big dude, bro.
Yeah. He got enough money to counteract that naturally big body, so like with enough money, you can counteract your naturally big body with like eating and working out or whatever it is. Like you don't like whatever you're naturally supposed to be, you can always counteract it. But
well, I think
I'm not quite sure.
I think what we mean when we say is not just like being like fat necessarily, but just like if he like works out or whatever, like folks would want him to or what have you. He's probably just naturally gonna be about that size anyway. Like it's just how he's going to fill out. He's going to be a big dude. Now, like you can make him slim down, but of course it's going to cost some of that strength and probably some of that. I would argue, I don't know, probably some of that explosiveness. Now, how much of it? I don't know. Would it be beneficial for like his knees or whatever? Possibly. And there's probably weight that he can lose, but like I'm not sure because he came in like 285 or something.
Woo!
Like
a big boy.
And like if he moves like he does now, you're gonna have a hard time convincing me that like most of that wasn't muscle to begin with.
But look at his body frame and structure when he was in Duke, which is different than what it is now, and when he was in high school, when he was a YouTube sensation. This dude was much more slender than what he is now, but it feels like he was jumping way higher than what he is now. Like, whenever you see, let's say, 2 days ago, Lonzo gave him an alley-oop, right? He caught the alley-oop, but, like, his head was... He caught the alley-oop as, like, a person would catch an alley-oop. Maybe we all got spoiled, because I'm used to him catching alley-oops, not like normal people. Like, I'm used to him catching alley-oops like a Zion alley-oop, or his head against the rim, you know what I mean? Even at Duke is kind of the same thing. But right now, I don't feel like he's jumping as high. But also, I thought the exact same thing with Andrew Wiggins when he first got into the league. Because if you look at Andrew Wiggins when he was in high school for sure, and every dunk, his head was at the rim. Every single dunk. College, at KU, a little bit lower, but still. But then all of a sudden in the league, he got bounced, but it's not the same kind of bounce. So I'm like, I don't know what it is. I truly don't know what it is. But I've seen this happen to a couple people. So I'm like, is it, the wear and tear of an NBA grind? Is it, is it just the older you get, like, do you just jump higher at 18 than you do at 25? Which,
well, like, also, like, when you're 18, you're generally, like, most people are generally smaller at 18 than they are, like after a couple years in college or what have you, or, like, a couple years in the league. Like, just, like, you probably have less muscle. You almost certainly you just weigh less.
Yeah. But with that being said, Zion having a slimmer body type or a slimmer body structure, I guess, I don't think it would like negatively affect him. You know what I mean? Like, yes, this might be his natural body size of what it is now, but I don't think it'd be a negative thing for him to like suit up a little bit, shrink it up a little bit.
Like, how much are we talking about shrinking up? Because I think
it's not necessarily weight, right? It's not necessarily weight. It's just like because you can weigh the same, but your body is structured a little different, or your body's fitted a little different, right? But also, like, I don't know. I really don't care, to tell the truth. Like, he still hasn't been hurt since he's got away from since he first came back to the league 21 games ago, I guess what it is now. Like, he hasn't been hurt. So I don't know why he's on minute restrictions now.
I still don't really know, especially considering that there was like a almost 5 month layoff.
Yeah.
Unless he just like wasn't doing anything, then you can kind of just chalk that up to being like 19 and just like a tad bit immature with like the not going to work out, or just not even the immaturity, like just not knowing.
But like
I
from what we heard though, we highly doubt that's the case, right? That he would just sit around and do nothing. From what we heard.
I mean, just because the gym is open, like I've been in the gym before, just an open gym. It ain't the same, bro. It ain't the same.
I mean, but he also got like, it's not the same if you at Fort Worth Rec Center, but like if you in the NBA pellet, like you gonna make it the not the same, but you gonna make it productive. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna find something productive, and and the things we heard is he was in the gym, he was shooting all the time, and he what's his name? Josh Hart was like his shot looks even better now than it did before. You know what I mean? Like we're hearing these narratives, but then all of a sudden he plays the first game, he played in 3-minute bursts, 4-minute bursts, whatever it is. I'm like, why? Like I don't get it. Well, like I'm thinking there's something out there that they just haven't told us.
To be honest with you, I really hope they're not tanking at this point, because it doesn't like make a lot of sense considering like this isn't like a stellar draft unless they know something we don't, and because they're the Pelicans, I don't think they know nothing we don't know, because like historically they don't draft well, and then they don't put anything around you that like
they got a new David Griffin's new though. So, like, and he does draft fairly well for, like, surrounding people with talent. Now, not that. Let me take it back. Surrounding people with talent that works for them, not necessarily talent. You know what I mean? So, like, he did, like...
But he had LeBron.
But, like, surrounding LeBron with talent, though, that, like,
That's not hard.
Work with LeBron.
Just shooters. We all know what LeBron needs. We need shooters. And
we'd say that's not hard.
Shooters and dudes to play defense.
Championships out of his, I don't know, 15 years, whatever it is. Like LeBron's not winning every single year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like if you have him on your team, you're basically guaranteed to go to the finals.
And then at that point, it's everybody else's fault. Like habitually, it's not LeBron's fault, except like 2011.
And like my understanding is, in his entire career, his team's only been favored to win the finals like twice, I think, and he's got 3 rings. So
what?
Like
both the times they were favored.
What?
I think LeBron.
I have no idea.
They were favored to win.
If that's the case, that's hilarious.
Yeah, because I think it's like
he won. In which case, he won finals he shouldn't have won and lost ones he shouldn't have lost, which is wild to me. But like getting a good team around LeBron is not hard. For starters, you have LeBron. All right. Once you that, what you need is some shooters. All right. They're a dime a dozen at this point, if we're being honest. All right. You need some dudes who can play defense. A little bit harder to find, but you can find them. You might want a rebounder. Like, it just might be useful to have. And then you just kind of wait for LeBron to pass to them and they hit open shots.
So are we saying that LeBron... Hold on. So are we saying that a team that LeBron's on, no one else receives credit or should receive credit except LeBron?
Okay, so...
No.
It's LeBron. It's another dude. When LeBron gets tired, maybe you need a third, and then everybody else is like a role player. And like sometimes you don't get that because actually he's had that every time except that time he played against San Antonio in 2007. The other times, like LeBron fell asleep in 2011. We got a somewhat healthy Wade in 2020.
No. Let's not even. Okay. we're not gonna make this false narrative that LeBron fell asleep in 2011. Like that's a LeBron falling asleep in 2011 is a false narrative. Like they got beat by a much better team at that point because they got beat by a much better team at that point. The Dallas Mavericks were a much better team. LeBron didn't fall asleep. Like LeBron's stats being lower don't say that he fell asleep. Like LeBron was at that point still trying to figure out how to win, and it was the first year that they all came together. So like, it wasn't him falling asleep. It was just the Dallas Mavericks doing their thing. If you remember right, like during that time, it was the Dallas Mavericks doing their thing. LeBron did not fall asleep.
All right.
LeBron was LeBron.
All right, so maybe you could tell me otherwise. We might have to look into the stats, but LeBron during that series is averaging like 15, 16 shots a game. Like maybe I got to look a little bit deeper into the like stats, but I don't think that's enough for the King, bro.
We're talking 2011?
2011.
2011 playoffs or the particular series?
Yeah,
Finals.
just the finals. And I'm trying to like see what his other like stats are in like other series, like other final series. Because if we look at it, and LeBron happens to be like more aggressive or like getting more shots than we, it's like
I still don't consider that falling
this is
asleep
his
though.
own one where he didn't do well.
I don't figure that, but I don't consider that falling asleep. I consider that on the rise to become LeBron, or who we come to know as LeBron, right? In 2011, he still ain't won nothing.
So in 2011, in the 2011 finals, he averaged 17.8 points, 1.7 steals, 6.8 assists, 7.2 rebounds, shooting 47% from the field, 32% from deep, 60% from the free throw line.
Those aren't LeBron numbers, except like that.
Those aren't but you're saying those aren't LeBron numbers. Yes, those aren't LeBron numbers of the years following. But LeBron up to that point, at that point in the finals, to where he's only been one point in his life, that was LeBron trying to get to where he was, and so that wasn't LeBron falling asleep at that moment. That was LeBron trying to eclipse the previous LeBrons that were getting knocked out by the Celtics, and the previous LeBrons that were getting knocked out by San Antonio, whatever other team that knocked them out in the previous playoffs. Like that's not LeBron falling asleep. That's just LeBron not reaching the pinnacle of what we know LeBron has today. So like LeBron, that's not LeBron falling asleep at that moment. In the context of 2011, that wasn't LeBron falling asleep. That was the Dallas Mavericks doing their thing. But in hindsight, it looks like LeBron fell asleep because we know his stats going forward. But at that time, it was not him falling asleep.
Even
at that time, it was him.
Go back to 2007, where I know it was just him, but much more aggressive. In like San Antonio's job was to stop LeBron.
Yeah, because it was just him. Now, it wasn't him falling asleep. It was him. It was him adapting, right? It was him adapting to this big three or whatever it was. 2.5, kibosh, all kind of stuff. It was him adapting to that scenario. Listen, it was him adapting to that scenario. It wasn't him falling asleep. He was still adapting to what it was, and Dallas Mavericks took advantage of the situation, right? But Dallas Mavericks just happened to have a couple Hall of Famers on that team.
So just for reference, also in 2007 when he made it to the finals, he averaged 22 points. 1 steal, 6.8 assists, 7 rebounds, shooting 35% from the field, 20% from 3, 69% from the free throw line. He played 42.6 minutes a game, and they got swept.
So, and he, from like an efficiency standpoint, he got better in 2011, but still,
also was on the rise because what didn't happen? He didn't get swept. He didn't get swept. So it was still him trying to get to the pinnacle of what we know of LeBron today.
Can you look up Dwayne Wade's stats in 2011 and Bosh's stats?
What, the finals?
Yes.
Give me a second, because I was just looking at them. Because
I went to
the
work.
stats are just like everybody's stats.
Oh.
I went to that work.
Because I'm all with you, but like you've shown like most people's game plan is to stop LeBron. I know it's like different in the playoffs and in the finals, but like
All right.
that
So,
is
in those 2011 finals, Wade averaged 26.5 points, 1.5 blocks, 1.5 steals, 5.2 assists, 7 rebounds, shooting 54% from the field, 30% from deep, 69% from the free throw line. Bosch averaged 18.5 points, 1 assist, 7.3 rebounds, shooting 41% from the field, and 77% from the free throw line.
yeah. Now I might have to go back and watch that because I was like 15 when that came back. Like when that took place. So but if like LeBron is still like the primary ball handler and doing LeBron-esque stuff, which I believe he was at that point, because 2012 was the one where he came back and he was tank LeBron and he could play like in the post a little bit. Like I get that as a shift in like how he plays, but if LeBron was being point guard LeBron, like that's just like that's 7 games of a down LeBron. Like that's a tad bit.
I guess we're just on 2 different pages of what we consider down, because I don't think that I personally I'm not considering it down. I'm just considering it as an adjustment, right? It was a process of his life and he was taking adjustments because he got crazy numbers the first time into the finals and they got swept. So he was using this, or not using purposely, but in hindsight, this was an adjustment to him kind of taking more of a not necessarily more of a back seat, but because Dwayne Wade is just was a monster. You know what I mean? Like you don't like it is what it is. But he was just making an adjustment of like, oh, I can't be doing all that kind of stuff. Let me do some other things in other categories, whatever it is. And then all of a sudden, boom, they didn't get swept, but they lost. Next year, he's like, okay, now I know. Like the pendulum swings both ways, right? So all of a sudden, now in the middle, boom, 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 win, 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 all the way. They got the formula.
I guess, bro. My bad. I can't be lenient on 2007. That is your first time. You ain't got no help. You drag that team. I cannot be so lenient the second time in 2011 when you're 8 years into the league and you've done so many amazing things, and then that's the stat line that you pull.
But wasn't Jordan also always in the league before he actually won his first ring?
I don't know. I'm not worried about the ring thing. I'm more worried about like the performance. Like at least Jordan would still get all the points, even though that's a completely different thing considering, you know, he didn't make it to the finals until like year 7. Like that's not my goat though. So it's whatever.
Okay.
I will forever say that. That's not my goat.
It's not my goat. Let's go right here.
But, I don't know, brother. We argued about LeBron. We talked about Zion. I mean, we agreed that basketball is the new pastime for the United States. I don't care what anybody else says because their opinion is invalid. I think that's a good podcast.
Yes, it is.
All right, let's get on up out of here. And I guess I can do the sign off. All right, this is the Travel Hoopers podcast. I am your host, Alan Pettigrew. These 2 fine gentlemen can sign off themselves. No, they can't, clearly.
I forgot the order. Crap.
Yeah, this is Philip Dixon. You know, remember me. Pete does the one and only The Kingdom Come. All right, so why are you giving that face, Alan? Yeah. So you can follow me on everything and anything. You know what I mean? Because I'm there and I'm ready for you. Hey, shout out. Let's get it. 1-on-1. Color Pratt.
Okay.
I'm Calvin McGowan. Yeah, hope you enjoyed this. I really don't have much to say at this point.
All right, we out.
All right. Shout out Levi.